Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me again today. Thanks for continuing to watch the Buckeyes at Home series, and welcome back to another episode of Doodle Days with Zach. So I'm so glad to have you here today. I'm glad you can be with me today in my art studio slash office space, and I'm glad that we have the opportunity to doodle together today, even though we're kind of apart. So in this video, we're going to be building on what we talked about in our last video. So we're going to be talking a bit more about drawing dinosaurs. And today I thought we'd draw something a little bit different. So last video we drew a brontosaurus, which is one of those dinosaurs with the really long necks. So today I thought we'd draw this guy. So we're going to be focusing on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So I want you to think real quick about some of the dinosaurs that you've read about in other stories. So what are some of the dinosaurs that you've read? What are your favorite dinosaurs in books you've read? Nice, that's fantastic. So I'm glad that that's your favorite character in your favorite dinosaur book. So I really love seeing dinosaurs in fiction. I love seeing dinosaurs in books, picture books, cartoons, comics. In fact, one of my favorite dinosaur characters is from an X-Men comic, and his name is Sauron. He's kind of fun. But in this video, like I said, we're going to get started with our doodle pretty quickly. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go find some art supplies. So I want you to go find some paper, colored pencils, crayons, markers, whatever you want to use today. You have complete freedom. And then when you've found your art supplies, I want you to click on the play button, and we'll resume the video. Welcome back! So I'm so glad you found some great art supplies. We'll go ahead and get started drawing our Tyrannosaurus Rex. So I'm going to go ahead and erase our board here. Get rid of this title here, and then we'll get started on our dinosaur. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a black marker, and whenever you're ready, on your mark, get set, doodle. So I'm going to start just by drawing kind of a squarish shape, but with rounded edges. So this is going to be our T-Rex's head. So I'm going to not close this square because I want to have it having an open mouth. And now I've got kind of a rounded square shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some zigzags here and kind of bring them in just so I can illustrate teeth. So this is going to be kind of a cartoony looking T-Rex. But we've already got the start of a nice toothy mouth. So a nice toothy smile here. Now, we could I see a lot of T-Rexes looking kind of angry, so we could add in a little bit more detail to make the brow look a little bit angry. Do you remember when we were working on expressions in that one video earlier? So if we wanted to, let's go ahead and try this out. Let's make our best angry face. Right, so you see how my brows are kind of furrowed a little bit? They're kind of brought down and brought in. I look really angry with that. So it would be the same with a cartoony T-Rex. We could do that. Or we could just make them happy. So let's make our best happy face. 3, 2, 1. So you see how my eyes got real big there? What we're going to do is we're going to make kind of a happier T-Rex. Now, in the original doodle that I drew as our title card, I had it looking kind of angry. But we're going to go ahead and just make this kind of a happy looking T-Rex. So I'm going to draw a little circle. And I'm just not going to put in an eyebrow this time. I'm going to leave a little bit of white in the eye, so just a little circle of white. It's going to reflect some light there. So we've got a really nice, happy-looking T-Rex right now. So at this point, let's go ahead and start working on the body. So kind of like the Brontosaurus in the last video, they have kind of a rounded back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, but I'm actually going to put the back facing the mouth here because I want it to look like our Tyrannosaurus Rex is turning. So we're going to do that here in this video today. Kind of like what I did with the title card. Now if you wanted to, you could just put the back behind the dinosaur too. It's up to you. But I just thought it'd be interesting to focus on a different perspective, so have our dinosaur looking in a different angle. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I've got the makings of a rounded back here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start focusing on the front side. So I'm going to bring down the neck. And before I continue working on the chest and the belly, what I want to do is I want to start on the arms. But the arms of the T-Rex are kind of one of my favorite parts because they're so tiny. So we're going to go ahead and add those in. And we're going to start by just making a little rounded line, just like that. Then we're going to keep it going We're going to continue that line and then bring it into 2 triangle points, and draw it around again. And we need 1 more arm, so I'm going to do the exact same thing, starting from the other side this time. And there we go. Our T-Rex has a couple of little arms. So now I can go ahead and continue working on the belly. And at this point, I'd say that the body part is done. So now we just need to get the legs added on to the body. So, and then we'll work on the tail after that. So I'm going to go ahead and add in kind of a rounded shape, and then tip that with 2 triangles too. And then we're going to keep that going over here. And now we've got some dino feet. So next, all we have to do, and this is the last part, is work on that tail. It's going to be a long curving line. It's going to be a little bit thicker than our brontosaurus tail. And it's connecting to our rounded back there. If we want, we could make the back a little bit more rounded. I thought that would look a little bit nice. So at this point, we have our T-Rex. So we can get started on the coloring process now. But before we do, I want to talk about a concept that I think might be useful to you as you work on your own doodles, as you get started with kind of adding in shadows and things like that. So a fun technique to use when you're doodling is shading in lines. So as you try to make something look a little bit more shadowed, so case in point, this dino's neck is kind of extended here so that it's turning. So we have a little bit of a corner here that we can actually shade in. So what we can do is we can just take some little black lines, or a pencil, whatever you have, and we can add in those lines there just to add the illusion of shadow. And we can do the same thing underneath the arms. And that's going to add a little bit of dimension to our doodle. So at this point, and I'll show you that a little bit more up close, because it might be kind of hard to see, they're kind of fine details. But you see how there's some little lines there that represent the shadows? That's going to add a little bit of dimension to our doodle. So that's just kind of a little pro tip there. So at this point, I do want to get started with coloring in. So what's your favorite color today? Awesome. That's a great color. Fantastic. Today I'm feeling red, which is why I'm wearing a red sweater. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to continue coloring in our dinosaur and make him look red. So go ahead and grab your favorite color, and we'll continue to color in. And as you recall, my art style incorporates a lot of lines, because I think that really adds to a drawing and a doodle. I think it adds a little bit of movement to the color, which I really like to see. This coloring is going to take a little bit because this is a pretty big dinosaur. I mean, T-Rexes are huge. So we got a lot of red going down. Or whatever color you chose, whatever your favorite color is today. Whatever color you want to make this dinosaur. Because this is your T-Rex. So it doesn't have to be red like mine. And then we'll add in some red on the tail. All right, and we've got a nice red striped T-Rex. So at this point, what do you think this doodle needs? Great, thank you so much for the suggestion. Yeah, it's kind of floating in space, so maybe we should add some stuff in the background, or maybe we should give it something to hold. You know, I think that in this case, I am going to add in some other hills, just like in our last video, because I really like the look of hills, but maybe they won't be so dramatic. Maybe we'll have like a bit more of a hilly or flat surface. So I'm going to draw in a rounded edge here, but it's not going to be a very steep hill. It's going to be slightly rounded, but not too much. And maybe, you know, it's kind of a warm day today when I'm recording this. Maybe this T-Rex wants an ice cream cone or something. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. I'm just drawing a little triangle. Now, I'm going to draw in the scoop of ice cream, but instead of just leaving it as a half circle at the edge of our cone, I'm going to draw in some little tiny circles underneath that to look like the ice cream's been freshly scooped. So it's not always just a half circle like that. Sometimes it's melting a little bit, maybe it's kind of a rough scoop. And we'll say that it's kind of like some lime sherbet or something. So we'll add in some green here. And maybe color in that cone with a little bit of brown. And at this point, I'm going to put in some green on our hills. Some big, big lines of green here. Make this look real nice. And at this point, maybe we'll add in one last thing. I haven't added in a mountain in a while, so maybe we'll have a little bit of a mountain kind of coming out over here. And if you recall in my last video with the mountains in it, because I haven't done a mountain in a little bit, I have kind of these lines down just to give like a little bit of definition to the mountains. Then I'm going to add in just some black lines. I'm going to give the shapes. Maybe this T-Rex is living in a mountainy area. We'll add in a little bit of snow there at the top. And we'll call it a day with this doodle. So here's my T-Rex with ice cream cone and mountains. So I'll hold that up just so you can see it a little bit better. Now, I would love to see the T-Rex that you doodled today. Can you hold that up to your screen, please? Wow, that looks great! Excellent work. Thank you so much for doodling along with me. Now, your T-Rex may not look exactly like my T-Rex. In fact, it looks exactly like your T-Rex. And I hope maybe you can incorporate some of these dinos into your own stories, and still keep in mind that sometimes a background really makes for a really nice picture. So at this point, I'd say we finished with our doodle, but thank you so much for continuing to watch. In the next video, maybe we'll get to work on a Triceratops, or maybe you'll suggest another dino that you'd like me to see. Please feel free to send me pictures of your doodles, or send me, suggestions of other dinos you'd like to see me doodle in another video, and I can add that in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch the Buckeyes at Home series. Keep an eye out for the next Doodle Day with Zach, and I hope you have a fantastic day.